inside a bar, you had music going. I thought, okay, now's the time John's going to do a show with me where he's actually going to be moving. And you were moving, and now you thought, no, I'm going to go outside where it's quiet. Why?
Well, because I couldn't hear you, and because I was encased in concrete and I couldn't get a signal. So I'm now outside where I can actually get a signal, and it's let's see, it's probably about 5 degrees outside, and it's been wet and silly and nasty, and so morning show down, and as we're talking, World Cup draw coming up around the corner.
Yeah, so let's do it. Let's get into that World Cup draw. I was actually going to do it later on, but again, it's right around the corner, so let's going to whip through this thing. So what do you expect in all this? I mean, it's one thing to have the World Cup because it's an absolute majestic stage in the world for the game of soccer, for the beautiful game. It's something else, though, with this World Cup draw. Like this, to me, it's just the beginning of what is going to be an amazing tournament, but there's so much involved. The anticipation, John, for this with all these countries is, I saw this clip yesterday of I think it was Canada, and a bunch of them were looking back to the last time that they were drawn into the World Cup, what group they'd be in, and just everybody was on edge trying to figure out, where am I going to go, where am I going to be, and who am I going to be playing with. So I can't wait for it.
No, and because Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. are hosting, yep, they are the number one slots in Group A. Group A is Canada, Group B is Mexico, Group D is the United States. So who gets the group of death? Who gets the easy pass? Is it going to be Argentina getting the easy pass as they try to go back-to-back for the first time since 58 and 62 with Brazil? Does CR40 and his abs, do they get a pass? Does Portugal? Yeah, I want to see. I want to see what happens with all the big guns. Who gets paired with them? Who gets Norway with Erling Haaland? You know, I want to see how the first timers do. Like, give me an Uzbekistan, give me a Cabo Verde, give me all that fun stuff. But yeah, the jigsaw puzzle starts today, and then tomorrow, as we're talking, the schedule comes out, so we'll know what's going to be at BMO. We know what's going to be at Mercedes-Benz. We know what's going to be at 10 o'clock at night in Seattle. So the jigsaw puzzle gets fixed by the end of the weekend.
I'm looking forward to this. You mentioned Norway. I was reading a bit more about them, and when it came to Canada, certainly I was seeing about who they were going to face, and that team, from what I gather, that nation is one to be reckoned with. Is that fair to say for this, or no?
Well, I mean, when you have one of the nastiest strikers, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. Well, when you got Erling Haaland, who is like 8 feet 3 inches tall and does what he does. He was the fastest ever to score 100 goals for Manchester City in club history. So you have that, and you have to find a way where, okay, good luck trying to defend a guy like that. If you are any of the three hosts, you don't want Norway in your group. You don't want Morocco in your group. There are a lot of folks out there that you're going to sit there and go, oh-ish, you know, we got this draw. So that's the fun part. But who's gonna have to sit there and go, oh-ish, we're in trouble, and it's going to be a street fight for us to get out of group stage.
Okay, let's move on. I know we're going to do this fast one today especially. So there's big concern, John, with what is going on in Milan. And if you look at the numbers down below, 196.85 by 85.3. Do the math, carry the 3. That's not an NHL size rink. That's not even an Olympic size rink, John. So right now, the rink in Milan to host the the hockey portion of the Olympic Games is not completed. Bill Daly was asked the other day, what's the percentage that NHLers will still go over if the rink is not done? He basically said, well, what's the percentage the rink is at right now to be completed? That's the percentage of us going over. If it's not completed, we're not going over. But how can they make such a mistake in this, John? How can you make I'm not good at math. But whoever is thinking, okay, you got the blueprint for how big a rink should be and what it should from whatever, side to side, front to back, you need to make sure your math is correct. This is an absolute joke. It's an embarrassment.
Okay, so 200 is what we're looking at normally, right?
Yeah.
200? Okay, so what is Milan saying it's going to be?
Right here.
You're about 186?
You're about 3 and change. 196, 197 by 85.3. So you're about 3 and change lengthwise short of what what an NHL rink is.
And then with 85 traditionally wide, 85 maybe? So maybe, 200 by 85. I mean, there have been tournaments in the IHF in the past where I remember there were like, bantam rinks and things like that. But I mean, those were like IHF tournaments, and you're just kind of like trying to squeeze in venues and things like that. This was not something where the entire the entire civilized world is going over to your country to be in an undersized rink. Right. I don't know. Maybe you should just here's what you do. If the rink is the size that it is in Milan when it's done, send bantam players over from your countries, and then that way it'll seem like it's 200 by 85 with the bantam players in that undersized rink.
Right. You know what? Call the IOC right now. Call Mr. Bettman, call Mr. Daly and say, hey, I have a solution. I just think this is ridiculous. And I know that for a number of weeks now, there's been the discussion of, is this thing going to get done? I understand these things take a long time. Totally get it. And what makes this even more of an issue for me is that it's been a long time since NHL players have been to the Olympic Games. And now there's a question, although it's a small one right now, now it's a question whether they're going to go. But get it right, people. It's not that hard. And you know what's interesting, too? And then we'll move on. Some NHL guys are saying that 3 feet, that is a big, big difference. And that's it. You find it hard to believe.
It's a stride, man.
Yeah, it's a stride. Well said. Extra time. Quick sidebar, no segue into what we're going to talk about next. Do you hear the quote that Andy Reid said this week? If you didn't, I'll tell you anyway. So he told reporters this week, he said that his team is going to, quote, try to tickle your tonsils every play, every game.
Okay. What in the blue hell does that mean?
I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out at you because I know we talked last time about dinner table conversations and you had fun with that. So there's another quote conversation. Lane Kiffin, your thoughts on this? Like, this is nuts. The fact that this guy said too that his move had nothing to do with the money. He didn't know how much that he was going to be making and how much he was offered. I think is a joke.
The whole situation is out of control. It somewhat personifies the Southeastern Conference and what you get with it just means more. But Lane Kiffin seemingly more and more wants to make it about Lane Kiffin. And he wants to be courted. He wants to be the center of attention. He wants to have all of these folks knocking on his door. For some reason, he feels like he's got to be wanted. He can't be happy where he is. They're giving me everything, but I just don't know. I'm going to have to move on because something is not right. Something just doesn't feel right in my heart. I don't know what it is, but there's just something that makes me feel different. I feel like a change of pace, despite the love that I have for Oxford, Mississippi and everything with Ole Miss. I feel like I'm going to have to just move on and go someplace else. And that doesn't even begin to describe the whole part about the dog, where Juice Kiffin is apparently, he was, I guess, a prop for social media and Juice is apparently a hunting dog, or at least has hunting dog genes in him, to where he has to be in a place where he's got to have a lot of real estate and he's got to run. And so the handler and the breeders that introduced Juice to Lane are the ones who've been spending more time with him than Lane actually does. And so Lane kind of has been using Juice as a prop this entire time. And then you had the idea where Lane says, I had to have a police escort out of this, to the airport out of the state of Mississippi because I was run off the road. Yeah. And the Mississippi State Police is sitting there saying, well, no, we had an escort. We were there. And no, you were not run off the road. Mm-hmm. So literally he's making it about himself and creating all of these yarns. And you're sitting there and you're going, dude, but I don't know. Maybe it comes down to that notion of just craving the attention, needing the attention, wanting to make sure that you're the center of attention in all of this. Ridiculous. And all of these things that he's been saying this entire time. You're just kind of sitting there and scratching your head. It's just like you had it so good at Ole Miss, but for some reason you feel like you got to move on because it's just not right in your heart for whatever reason. Did you see the still photo from when the plane was taking off from Oxford and heading to Baton Rouge? Yeah. If this doesn't win a sports Pulitzer, I don't know what will. You had the two fans of Ole Miss, and you might have to mosaic me out here. But the cameraman is the still photographer is shooting between two guys, and they're looking up at the plane, and the plane is in the middle of the shot, way up in the air, and you see these two college-age 20s, and they're going like this. They are literally telling Lane he's number one, and they're both pointing their middle fingers toward the airplane in the middle of the sky, and the still photographer's got the great shot of everything going up that way. Yeah. This has disaster written all over it.
Yeah.
And at this point of the man's career, maybe he needs a bit of a comeuppance.
He was no one's bigger than the game. I don't care if you're a player, coach, you're not bigger than the game, whatever game that is. He was on a plane to Baton Rouge within an hour. And then to your point about these fans, Old Miss staff threw some of his clothes out as well.
That was fantastic. I love that. Hanging it on the wire, hanging it on the hanger on the curb. That was fantastic.
And do you know that LSU now, I didn't know this, they're now paying 3 separate head coaches $160 million. 2 of them fired in the last 5 years. That's absolutely insane.
You. Thank you, Brian Kelly. $54 million that way, and then another $94 to Lane, so that's $148 US, and so I guess whoever was in between, $6 million out the door, and the contract to Lane doesn't even begin to describe what he's going to want to hire his assistants.
No, exactly.
So you got like what 7 at 14, so 98 to Kiffin, doesn't even start as assistants, and then you've got a situation like mine at Florida State, where we can't afford the buyout. So we're stuck with Mike Norvell. After December 1st, it went down to $45 million. We still can't afford Mike Norvell. And so to fire Mike Norvell and his staff and bring in a new staff at Florida State University, it would cost you $72 million in startup fees. So God knows what it would be at LSU for a situation like this if this goes sideways, and I have every thought that this is going to go sideways very quickly.
And that's what most people think. And the last line for most of these is good luck, Lane, good luck, Lane. No one's bigger than the game. You and I have talked at length over the years, and this again is something that just gets me going. LeBron, you're not bigger than the game, and you got to retire. You got to just let it go. So there was this play the other night. J.J. Redick was yelling at LeBron James, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And LeBron James was by the Phoenix Suns bench just chatting, laughing, having a great time. His team was down 20, so at that point he thought, well, I'm not going to, who cares? I'll just sit and make dinner plans and see how everyone's doing. Redick had to then call a timeout. Okay, he called a timeout. LeBron didn't go join the team during the timeout. He stayed on the sidelines talking with the Phoenix Suns bench. John, honestly, that to me is an absolute disgrace. It's a joke. You need to go, and this is what this guy does. He fires coaches quietly, and then he brings in players quietly. He doesn't want this. And you're not the GOAT of all time. You're not the GOAT. You're not. Michael Jordan is. You're never going to be the greatest of all time, ever. There's no debate about that. People will say it, but in my mind, there's no debate. But this behavior, John, it's absolutely ridiculous.
I think that it's to the point to where, the thing is, would his mood improve if J.J. Redick was no longer the head coach? That would be my first question in all of this. We'll
probably find out next week, because he'll probably be gone.
Yeah. So who was it that was fired this past week that's out there on the curb that maybe just fine. Just pick up somebody that you like. Look, Lionel Messi is the same way in soccer. And Inter Miami is the same way in soccer. Hey Leo, who do you want as your coach? Who do you want as your players? Which one of your buddies do you want to run with? It's the same with LeBron. It happens with these Class A 5-star athletes. It's going to be this way. So the only thing is, LeBron, who do you want as coach? And then that's the only way to reorchestrate things, make him happy, and turn the Lakers around. Because then he'll be motivated again.
Again. Like, enough. You've done everything you need to do. Just let it go. I just think, for a kid who's watching that, or anyone else who's watching that, it's just that the principle behind that to me, and if that was anybody other than LeBron James, I would guarantee you that J.J. Redick would bench that said person. If it was anybody else that LeBron James was on the sideline, chatting it up with the team, down 21, missing the timeout that the coach had to call for you. I think it's a disgrace. LeBron, great player. That's fine. Leave it at that. Interested in this at all, John? I know you're interested in all the tennis things I bring up, but Serena, possibly hinting at a comeback. She signed up for the tour's drug testing program. She's 44. What do you think? You think there's some legs to this?
Hey, look, you do these things like that to always keep a door open.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you are Serena at the age of 44 and you want to go ahead and give it another shot, look, go crush it. I mean, be an example for young women who want to sit there and go, well, you know, I'm a teenager. What kind of longevity would I have in whatever it is that I love to do? And so, you know, coming back for another tour in her mid 40s, it shows that the longevity can be there. As long as you love something and you want to invest the time in it, then you can do nothing for a double negative. Nothing is impossible. So look, hey, you're 44. You're an example for young women who might want to do something like that for a career, whatever that career is. And then you're also an example for the women who are north of 39 and for the 39-year-olds that, look, don't pin yourself into a DOB when it comes to your career. The date of birth, for those of you wondering about your driver's license. Don't pin yourself into a date of birth. Don't pin yourself. It's like, oh, I'm, you know, too old. I'm too whatever. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
And if Serena wants to go out there and smash the ball around at 44, go do it. I can't wait. You look, when she goes into a tournament, she gets wild carded into some tournament in Cincinnati or Palm Springs or something like that. And she goes to knock off a couple of folks.
Sold out. Watch out.
Go crush it. That's all I want.
Okay, so here's my last question.
Go crush it.
And then we'll do one more thing, and then we'll let you go. Say she decided to take
Sure.
the place of Sabalenka at the Battle of the Sexes with Nick Kyrgios. Would you watch?
Nope. Still not watching. I hope she beats Nick Kyrgios, but I still wouldn't watch. Nope, not watching.
This
Not
one's
happening.
intriguing. I'm sure that you saw that. University of Buffalo wideout Victor Snow. The other game, a team down 15 points. He was on his way to the end zone, and he randomly just stepped out of bounds. Watch the video. Everybody in the team, his teammates were thinking, what are you doing? So now everyone's saying maybe there was something to do with gambling. Maybe he had to bet under his own touchdown line or something like that, and he couldn't go through. I don't know, John. I really hope there's nothing to this. It was one of the strangest things I've ever seen. If you were up by 15 or 20 and say there's 5 seconds to go, that's fine. You don't want to put another 6 on the board. Totally get it. But it's just what exactly is the mentality with that?
I mean, you know, you want to get another play. You want to try to have somebody else score.
You're leaving it alone. Yeah.
It's, you know, it's, you know, I'm just there. The possibilities, Pates, are endless. I mean, he could have just gotten tired.
Sure.
It's just, you know, I'm gassed. I think I'll just go ahead and stop the clock and then go like this and have somebody come in for that last touchdown attempt to perhaps get a number. Was there a total involved? Was there a spread involved? Were there juice boxes involved? Were you just tired? Did you not want to like scuff up your jersey for your senior day or something? I mean, you know, did you want a Chipotle? Did you want a steak sandwich? You know, did you want to go to concessions? Or do you need to like renew another hour or two for your car park? I'm just saying, this just stuff that's out there. Just the possibilities are endless.
Okay.
Let's give UB the benefit of the doubt as they have their investigation. But I'm just saying possibilities are endless, Pace. I'm open to interpretation.
You skirted around the issue, but you did not skirt around the issue, so that's very good. Okay, we're going to get you out of here. Enjoy the World Cup draw. We'll talk next week.
You got it. Love you, friend. See you soon.
Yeah.